July 5th, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 158 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Well, I just got back from Harrah's South Lake Tahoe. I didn't mention it on the last show because, well, a couple of reasons. I was going just with my wife, and it's the first time that Sherry and I have had any kind of vacation, just the two of us. And
I don't understand, but go on.
Number two, I knew there wouldn't be a lot of gambling, so I figured there really wouldn't be a time to schedule any kind of listener meetup or anything.
I really don't understand.
Yeah, I know this is beyond your comprehension
Go on.
here, but
go on.
But anyway, I had a very good trip. It was a short trip, but had a very good trip, and we did some fun things around the lake. We went hiking, and the altitude got to me a little bit, and we went bike riding, that kind of thing. But
there is a lot to do in Lake Tahoe.
Oh yeah,
which is nice. You
Yeah.
know, if you're needing a break,
yeah,
that's a good place to take it. Whereas Vegas, there's only gambling.
that's all they have anymore.
That's all they have.
Yeah, that's kind of a downside of Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they're still around, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you can hardly find a place to eat there.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it is bad. Well, I do have some things to say about the trip related to the show. So,
okay.
First of all, we had a nice meal at their steakhouse there, Friday's Station. And beforehand, I went down to Total Rewards because I wanted to use my celebration dinner money to pay for it.
Okay.
And Total Reward members who are Diamond or 7 stars might have gotten an email recently saying that for the celebration dinners now, you can redeem them directly at, this is what they say on the email, at select Caesars-owned restaurants.
Select.
A select. And remember in the past we've said you got to go to Total Rewards first, get vouchers, tell them where you want to eat, get vouchers,
right,
and then take the vouchers. Well, I went to Total Rewards just to, see what I needed to do. And she said, oh yeah, you can just, if you're going to Friday's Station, you can just go up there and tell them you want to use your celebration dinner. And they will redeem it in multiples of 100. So 7 stars members get $500 in celebration dinner credit.
Okay.
And you don't have to use it all at once. So Sherry and I went up there, had a very nice meal. It came to $185. So I told the waiter, I want to use the celebration dinner points. And so they were able to deduct $200 to pay for it. Now I've still got $300 more.
Well, you should have asked for something that cost $15 to go.
I know. I didn't even think of that. I should have ordered another drink or something. Yeah, because, they don't give you the change.
No, you don't get the change. And the problem with that, too, is if it comes to like $104 or something, right?
Sure. Well, then I'd just give them $4, all right? I think maybe I'd take that out of my pocket.
No way.
So anyway, that's something to keep in mind. I guess, since it does say select Caesars-owned properties, or restaurants rather, you should really check, before you just go in and say, hey, I want to use my... So otherwise you're running down to Total Rewards to get the voucher while
they're looking at you, sir, this is McDonald's. I don't understand.
Yeah, but I racked up $85.
So last year we got vouchers and used it to buy soda and chips and stuff like that. Can you still do that?
I assume we still can, right? Okay. Because again, since it says select Caesars-owned restaurants, right, I assume the other restaurants where you can still use Total Reward points,
right,
but they're not necessarily Caesars owned, you probably have to get the vouchers ahead of time.
Maybe they're just not set up to...
Right, that could be. And so if we end up doing like we did last year, we just go get our vouchers and then go to the, all the fast food places and buy all that water and soda.
We'll get our vouchers.
Candy.
We'll go there. I'll have 2,600 Kit Kats. I'll have 1,400 bags of M&Ms.
Maybe we'll combine our points this time to wipe them out.
We'll just get all the candy they've got.
They just put up their clothes.
It'll last us a week.
Yeah. So some gambling stories. At Harrah's, they have the all small tall on the craps table. And this was interesting. And I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or if somebody has mentioned this to us before, but if one of them hits, like the small or the tall, if one of them hits, you can rebet it right away.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So they go ahead and pay it. Then this happened when I was there. A shooter rolled the small, and they pay off the small. They pay everybody who was on the small, and then they put a big marker out there, like a big token, a giant lammer, that says something like "small has hit."
Okay, to signify that it already hit once.
And then if the tall is made, that the all also gets paid, right? So that's what people did. It was done, and people started betting the small again. So that was nice.
Now, I haven't seen that before because everywhere I've ever been, you cannot bet it again until they all hit.
You and I were talking the other night when I was telling you this story, and we were thinking, well, okay, that's good. So if the tall hits... Okay, so the small hit in this case, and then people started betting the small again, and sure enough, they started marking small numbers again.
Right.
Now, if the tall hits, okay, the tall gets paid, the all gets paid. Now, at that point, people should be able to bet the tall again, but I don't think they'd be able to bet the all because some of the small have already hit.
Right. It would be to the player's advantage at that point.
It'd be huge.
Yeah.
So I assume that if that happens, if the all gets hit, then from then on until a 7 comes up, all you can do is bet the small or the tall. You just can't bet the all.
So what do they have? A big, huge lammer that says no all or talls hit and smalls hit?
Maybe
they got to have lammers for every possible combination.
I think it's just, they have small hit, tall hit, and then that's an indication that you can't bet the all at that point. Did I say that right? Small hit, tall hit. You have lammers out there.
No all.
No all. Yeah, that's.
They've got one big lammer. Small has hit 4 times. They're saying, we're never going to use this. Why do we get all these lammers?
I think that this is still to the casino's advantage because usually the other side is not going to hit.
Right.
I say usually. I assume that's true. So the fact that they can get more money out there on this high house edge bet is probably good for them.
Right. You're right. And, it's not a lot of money, right? Because people are putting, say, $5
That's usually what it is. Yeah, it's not too much.
They're finding a way to get more money out there.
Yeah.
They'll just have the repeater. That's good for the house.
That is good for that. It's good for you, too, Dr. Mike. You had a lot of those.
Oh, yeah.
At one point, we were playing craps. At one point, a player had put an odd amount for odds. I think the point was 5. And, the odds on a 5 pay 3 to 2, so you always want to bet an even number, right? A multiple of 2. But you see this all the time where either somebody doesn't know or they made a mistake and put an odd amount out there. I think it was $45. So the 5 was hit, and the dealer started to pay her off, and sure enough, he paid with a 50-cent piece, a Kennedy 50-cent coin to make the payoff exact on the table. So they actually had some 50
Maybe
cent
she knew what
there.
She was doing. Maybe she was like,
maybe she's a regular.
I can get paid. Yeah.
That's right. I want to see that coin. So I thought that was interesting. It was not like you could make a bet on the the table was like a $10 minimum or something.
Right,
it's not like you could make a bet at 50 cents or if you wanted to bet a 6, I don't think they'd let you bet $15. Which, you could pay if you correctly if you had 50-cent pieces. I don't know. I didn't ask. I just thought that was interesting. At least they had them on the table.
Well, they might.
Yeah, maybe.
I remember years ago when we played low-limit blackjack, and we'd get 50 cents pieces when we hit a blackjack.
Right.
And I'd put them in my pocket, always thinking, well, this way I'm going to go home with money. So at the end, I was out my $100, but I had like $7.50 and 50-cent pieces.
That's smart gambling.
Yeah, and then when I went home, I just threw them in a jar. That's the best thing about it. I probably still got the jar somewhere.
Really? See, I wanted to know what the end of the story was there. Do you have a jar full of 50-cent pieces?
Oh, I've got a big jar full of 50-cent pieces at home.
Okay.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, next time I'm over, I want you to show that to me. And then I'm going to come back on the show and say, he doesn't have a jar.
Well, it isn't a jar. It's a bunch of tubs, but...
Oh, okay. All right. I want to see that.
All right.
Something else that happened at the table. At one point, I was playing late, or Sherry had gone to bed, and I was playing late, and this craps game was the slowest game I've ever been on. I know it's slow when I'm playing with you, but this got ridiculous. So ridiculous that, I'm really impatient, right? And normally I'd be bouncing off the walls, but this was so ridiculous. I was kind of getting a kick out of it. Now, I don't know if it was like late.
Keep that attitude. Why don't you have that attitude all the time?
I don't know if it was late. You know what it was? It wasn't necessarily late betting, like they're about to push the dice and somebody makes a bet. It was more like, okay, player A says, all right, give me all the hard ways. And then player B says, I'll take a C and E. And it goes around, everybody makes their bet. Yeah. And then player A suddenly decides, you know what, press up my hard ways. And it just kept going like that. And so eventually I was kind of adding fuel to the fire. I turned to the players and said, last time this guy came out on a point, the next thing he rolled was a 12. It's like, all right, give me a 12. Right? Oh my God, it was
you're feeding the frenzy. You're like throwing oil on the fire.
It was terrible. And I was standing right next to the dealer. I was kind of right there by the don't come box. And his name was Doug. Very good cruise at Harris. His name was Doug. It was going so slow. At one point, I turned to Doug. I said, Doug, I don't need anything. And he laughed and said, thank you, sir. You just made my day. Then it started getting cold, and I just said, forget it. And I went and played some.
If the dice are going well and it's slow.
Yeah, it's like, big deal. We're getting paid every time. You can laugh
at it. It's hard to laugh at it when you're losing every time.
But then it was cold, so I went over to shoot to win, and I turned $100 into $200, betting, like $2 and $3 bets. I wish that the dice had been so good on the real table when I had some, real money out there. I'll tell you, Sherry, I said, hey, she had never seen this shoot to win craps before. She loved it.
Yeah, now what is it she likes so much about it?
I think it's just the fact that the low limits.
Oh, low limits.
You can just sit there and relax and
no pressure.
Yeah, there's really no pressure. If you forget to make a bet, oh well, the dice still go.
Yeah.
And
unlike real craps where they chide you, you forgot to make your bet, sir.
That's right.
Get it out there.
And really the only intimidating thing about shoot to win craps is the interface. There's so much going on. You kind of have to get used to the interface. And sometimes you start to panic when you hear that countdown, it's where it's about to roll. It's like,
Yeah, you have to get used to the pace of that.
Yeah. So there are 4 casinos now at South Lake Tahoe. There's Harrah's, Harvey's, both Caesar's properties. We walked over to Harvey's a little bit. There's Mont Bleu, which we didn't get to. And then Hard Rock. And we walked over to Hard Rock just briefly. I saw something there that was kind of interesting. It was in the morning, and I went by the craps table, and nobody was playing there. So they had only half the table open. You've seen that before, where they only have a dealer on
one side.
Yeah. So there were only 2 dealers. It was like a stick man and a dealer. And I'd never seen this before. They actually had a temporary wall that they could put in the middle of the table to kind of shorten the table, one side. And it was not just, some big piece of wood. It was actually curved with all that eggshell, that they have there for the dice and everything. It was very professional. It looked really good. I just never seen it before.
So it's probably so the stick man doesn't have to reach so far.
Yeah, he can go. I assume that's what it is.
To get the dice. Right. Yeah, either that or it's a transformer table.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even see it change like that.
Yeah, just a big transformer table.
Yeah, that could be.
You're lucky you made it out.
Well, I was lucky I got out of Lake Tahoe at all. To be honest with you, I actually did okay. I lost, good. I don't know, like $100, something like that overall.
Good. You actually played a bit.
I did play a bit, and I got one more story. So on our last night, I was heading to bed. It was getting late, and I think it was right after I'd done the shoot to win, and I passed a Total Rewards kiosk. And I thought, I'll slide my card. We've said this before. Always slide your card. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
So I slid my card. I got $125 in free play.
Nice.
It's not something that I expected. Maybe it was part of my offer. I don't know. But anyway, boom, there you go. Reason, 125. It's like, oh, great.
And speaking of that, in Vegas, I got an email. There's select dates throughout this summer where if you slide your card, you get multiplier points for the gift giveaway.
Oh, yeah, for the great gift wrap-up things. Yeah.
Right. So just always slide your card when because I can't remember what days or what.
Yeah, just slide it anyway. Always slide your card, and if you get an email that says, there's some offer coming up, always click through, because sometimes you have to opt in.
Right.
We've said that.
That's another thing.
Anyway, I got this $125. I thought, I'll just find the nearest video poker and play through it. So I went to the nearest video poker machine, pulled it up, full pay bonus,
nice,
25 cents.
Nice.
So I played through it, cashed out for 130, went to bed.
Nice.
So
slept well, my friend.
Slept well, yes. Well. So and then that was it. We drove up there, so it was a long drive, but very good, nice little vacation.
Good.
Yeah. Now, a couple weeks ago, you and I went up to Harrah's, Southern California.
Right.
And it was on the night of their big giveaway. They were giving away $100,000 every hour.
The end of the last Saturday of June.
Yes. From 2 to 11 o'clock, I think they gave $100,000 every hour. And we did not win the $100,000, although we knew somebody who did. One of the regular players
one of the regular crafts players won $100,000.
Well, when we arrived, one of the tables was just hooting and hollering and crowded. And
couldn't get on.
Yeah, couldn't get on. And we asked, and they had already hit 5 numbers to the fire bet. It's like, okay, good. And this guy was shooting for a while. Well, gosh, Mike, maybe about 20 minutes later, he ended up hitting all 6.
Right. He made all 6 on the fire.
20 minutes later. So think of that, right? He's already made 5, so he's already got a great roll.
Yeah, and this was a full table, and everybody had $5 on the fire except for the shooter, who had $1.
So he hit all 6. And then he proceeded to roll for another hour.
Right.
Now,
he rolled for close to 2.5 hours.
obviously, the game is going to be going fairly slowly at that point,
Right.
but still, another hour after you've hit the fire bet, oh my gosh.
Right. So last night I asked one of the pit guys, Mark, about what he thinks they lost. And he wasn't 100% sure, but he said it was somewhere around 100,000.
Yeah, I believe it because a lot of those, it was a $25 table, if I recall.
Right. It was a 25.
And it was a lot of the regulars and some of the high rollers.
A lot of the high rollers, yeah.
So they probably got a lot of those bets maxed out, which
I
is the
imagine
$2,500
most of them
is
got
the
them
max.
maxed out, yeah.
Now you went last night.
I went
to get
last
some-
night
yeah.
again, just to get some free play because I had today off. So I thought, well, I'll go get my free play. I got Tuesday's free play and waited till midnight and got Wednesday's free
good.
play. So that was good. And while I was there, a couple things. First, we were playing and the guy walked up and he had played for a few minutes. Then he turned to me and he said, "Are you that podcast guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So anyway, it turns out his name's Jamie. And he said he had binge listened all day to our podcast.
Oh, wow. Good.
Yeah, isn't that funny? He said he had a lot of driving to do, and so he just binge listened to a lot of podcasts.
Nice.
Unfortunately for him and I, the table was up and down. It was not that great.
Okay.
But he went over to Bubble Craps and had $200 turned into $1,100.
Really?
Yeah, at Bubble Craps. He said he was at the limit that you can bet.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
an
yeah.
aggregate limit.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so he was at the limit, so he couldn't bet anymore.
Yeah.
So and he kept hitting, and so that's how he won. He said
Nice.
that saved him. He couldn't press his bets any higher.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Mike, I love that Bubble Craps. I know
you
if I say.
do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Bubble Craps. So anyway, then later on, I'm playing, and all of a sudden I hear this muckle shoot, and I look over at the other table. Turns out, listener Janisha,
Janisha.
is on the table, and she was talking to Wendy. And
The dealer.
Wendy, the dealer. Yeah. And something came up about podcasts. And Wendy said, "Oh, do you do a podcast too?" And she's like, "No, I just listened to these two guys, Mike and Dr. Mike." And Wendy's like, "Well, that's Dr. Mike right there." I was on the other table. She just pointed over her shoulder because I was sitting on the corner. And so she jumps up. And that was just funny.
Nice.
And so and then I yelled muckle shoot.
Yeah.
So the two of us yelled muckle shoot. Nobody had a clue.
Of course.
After we talked a little bit, she went at your table. The dealers are like, "What'd you say?" I'm trying to explain that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, listener Bev who wrote in and said, "Oh, it's actually pronounced mucklashoot."
Yeah.
Sorry to say, Bev, we've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of people saying, "No, it's muckleshoot."
Yeah.
I've talked to tribe members, and it's muckleshoot. So
okay, well, we're going to go with that.
Well,
that's what I yell because
yeah,
people understand that.
people understand muckleshoot, right?
Right.
Good. Oh, good. That's great. I'm glad you finally got to meet her. She
Yeah.
just had her birthday here recently, and
Right.
yeah, good.
So it was good. I don't know how that table did. She was on the other table. And,
Yeah.
I don't think well because I didn't hear anyone cheering at
Okay,
all.
yeah.
But the casino was somewhat crowded, but it wasn't super crowded. I thought it'd be really crowded the day before 4th of July.
Yeah, so again, we're recording this on the 4th of July. So you went last night when
Right.
a lot of people probably were already on vacation or maybe staying over.
Well,
so.
yeah, you think they'd be there staying overnight, right? But it wasn't that crowded.
I bet why it wasn't crowded is because the weekend before was that big giveaway, right?
Right.
That's when everybody went there was the weekend for the $100,000.
That was crowded.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's the most crowded I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it was very.
It took us a while to get on the table.
New
yeah.
Year's Eve.
Yeah, it was
right?
something else.
Yeah. Oh, at one point too, I benefited from a dirty stack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a higher denomination chip and a lower denomination stack.
Oh, and
Yeah.
the dealer didn't notice
And the
it.
dealer didn't notice that. I didn't notice it until I had actually picked it up, and then in the middle, because I just put my chips. There's another chip, and I'm like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
So this came from a dirty stack. So
Well, if you
too late to say.
yeah, if you didn't notice it when you got it either, it's like, oh, we can't call attention to it now.
Right. Well, I mean, what difference does it make, really? They got it up. They got it back.
In the long run, yeah.
Yeah.
They're good. Especially the way you bet, Dr. Mike. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
hate
went out
to
on
put
the
you on
next.
that.
Went out on the next roll.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline segment. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. So, a long time ago, one of our earlier episodes, this was after we had gone to Atlantic City.
Okay.
And we when we were in Atlantic City, we went to Revel. We went to a lot of different casinos, and we went to Revel.
Right.
And shortly thereafter, Revel closed, and then it got sold, and there was talk about turning it into some kind of school or... Anyway, during the course of it being sold and all that, I finally got so tired of all the drama surrounding Revel that I said, you know what? We're not going to talk about Revel on this show again until it reopens. And
Did we stick to that?
We stuck to it. And that's why even last episode, I didn't mention that it was going to open because it hadn't opened yet.
No, but you did say, something happened.
Well, I said that the Hard Rock was going to open. I mean, because that was going to be... So anyway, yes, Revel has reopened as Ocean Casino and Resort, along with the Hard Rock opening the same day. But so Revel is back. It's Ocean.
It's Ocean.
It's right. And the reviews coming from both places are pretty good. I think that people are saying, okay, the Hard Rock, it's the old Taj Mahal.
Right.
They've really done a good job kind of rebranding it, and it looks good. And as far as the Revel goes, it's basically the same.
It looked nice inside anyway.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
That they didn't do much.
They dusted.
I hope they did. The Revel was a big disaster, and it might have been because they didn't treat their players very well.
Right.
And maybe that's what they need to do. So Revel hasn't changed much, but people liked Revel so much that they're saying, oh, hey, that's fine. I'm just glad it's open again.
Yeah, well, I don't like the name.
Ocean?
Yeah.
You don't?
No.
Because it's hard to...
It just sounds...
You can't say the ocean or oceans.
Right. It's like the Unforgiven.
Is it Unforgiven or is it the Unforgiven?
Yeah.
That's right. Is it Eurythmics or the
Eurythmics?
Well, it's Eurythmics.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so.
Well, and is it the Ocean? Is it Ocean Casino and Resort?
Yeah,
is it
I think
Ocean?
that's good. Yeah.
I don't like it.
All right. Well, we've got a couple phone calls. First up, our buddies Ed and Eric.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, it's your friend Ed from New Jersey. I'm standing in the Ocean Casino in the pre-opening. I'm here with your friend Eric, and I just want to report that he picked up the 5 dice on a live craps game, tossed them down, and yelled, Yahtzee. And he did it not once, but twice. And I think I got it on my phone.
Good. Good.
I want to tell you something. Hang on.
So interesting thing here at Ocean's Resort in their pre-opening, every table is a $3 minimum, $5 maximum. This is a low rollers dream come true. Just wanted to say that after the Yahtzee was complete, Ed grabbed the dice and yelled, Muckleshoot, and passed it down the table.
Nice.
All right, there we go. Nice. So yeah, this soft opening, both casinos actually opened like a day before the official opening.
Right.
And yeah, Eric sent me this picture. All the tables were minimum $3, maximum $5 during that soft opening.
Isn't that crazy?
That's great.
You sent me that, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be a typo. They meant like 500.
No, that was the way that it was. That's a great way to kind of start it. Just get everybody
maximum
in there.
$5.
Also, Ed sent us each a $1 chip from Ocean. He sent it in the mail, and in the note it said, we have to come to Atlantic City to redeem.
Ah, nice.
So maybe we'll do that.
See, a $1 chip from Ocean. It just doesn't flow. If you said $1 chip from Oceans...
Yeah, it's going to be rough for you.
It's going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not speaking of this casino until I'm actually there again.
Okay, good. All right.
And then I'm going to register a complaint about the name.
That might be why, we talk about how we love Atlantic City. We'd like to get back, but there's so many other places we kind of have to get to that we haven't been to before. So
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks again for that, Ed. All right, Eric had some more to say.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, Eric from New Jersey, just calling back with a second part to the Ocean soft opening. So apparently the high limit room will have one craps table at 10 times odds. Atlantic City typically offers 5 times odds everywhere but Borgata, which does the 3, 4, 5 M-Life nonsense. Anyway, this table with 10 times odds is listed as having no breakage, meaning you can make a bet of free odds of 10 times or nothing, with nothing in between, confirmed by 2 different pit bosses. So I've never seen that before, not sure if you've ever heard of that before. Additionally, at about 10:45, an alarm went off telling everybody that the casino will have to close in 15 minutes. All of the casinos in Atlantic City are 24 hours. So another first for me. Perhaps this has to do with their conditional licensing. I'm not sure. We were thinking about Dr. Mike at the craps table, when your $6, 6 and 8 can't be pressed because you're already at table max, he might have shot himself at the table. I'm not entirely sure how that would have gone over. But anyway, love the show, and talk to you soon.
You might have been happy only because you're making a $6 bet when technically it's a $5 maximum.
Yeah,
and you'd be thinking, I'm pushing the house.
I'd be pushing the house a little bit there. I'd like that. But are you kidding me?
Well, that was the whole point of the soft opening was just, no low limits.
And the
get to know
casino's
the place.
closing.
The casino's closing, yeah.
We got to move. We got to sell out into the ocean for a little bit.
What?
You know how the boats have
Oh,
to
yeah,
leave
they have to. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
For legal reasons.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. This is interesting with this high limit craps table. 10 times odds or nothing. Now, I wonder.
Is that for the soft opening only?
No, that sounded like that's going to be the case because it wasn't open when Eric and Ed were there, right in the high limit room.
I think I'd like that.
It might be good for you if, say, it was a $25 table, but say it was a $50 table. Would you be willing to go $500 on? I guess you
don't have to take odds. I mean,
you don't have to. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what
it'd keep the amount of people at the table down. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I guess that is true. I wonder what the casino's incentive is. If that's the case, I
can't imagine that lasts very long.
I don't. Yeah, I can't either. I'm trying to figure it out. It's okay because odds really don't matter to the casino in the long run,
right?
Other than that they have the deep pockets,
right?
So maybe that's it, is that we want people to have 10 times odds out there because ultimately they're going to run out of money,
right?
And we're going to win that. I don't know.
But I mean, forcing them to put it, I mean, they'll just go play at another table, right?
Yeah.
Or to another casino.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the incentive is. But yeah, we've never heard of that at a table before.
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, if you want to hear more about the two openings in Atlantic City, certainly Eric talks about it on Vegas Confessions. It's not the most recent episode is a match game episode.
Oh.
And the previous one, I think it's episode 18 of Vegas Confessions. Eric Rosenthal talks about the openings in Atlantic City. And also Kyle and Craig from Due for a Win, their latest episode, they talk about the new openings quite a bit. So certainly go back and listen to those episodes. All right, on our last episode, we had a caller who said that the reason they don't have craps and roulette in Minnesota is because the architects, they were going to refuse to design these casinos for the Native Americans if they offered those games because they were also architects that worked for Las Vegas companies. And we didn't think that made much sense. But we've got a couple more calls with some theories here. Okay.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Justin from Minnesota calling. I'm just calling to add more fire to the Minnesota craps controversy. It was my understanding that when they set up the gambling laws in the state, that the politicians who set up the gambling laws, which, as we well know, in another state, these are never gamblers, so they don't know what they're doing. They set up the laws so that there was no game allowed by random chance, which we know roulette and craps are games ruled by random chance to protect the public, to keep people from losing less money, because any other game that they allow in the state of Minnesota has some theoretical, you can determine the outcome of a game because a game of blackjack, there's only so many cards in the deck, and based on what cards have left, this is what your outcome can be, whereas roulette and craps are games by pure chance. There are a couple electronic roulette terminals around, and I think those are allowed because those are maybe set. I don't know how that one gets by the law. But anyways, that was what I had heard a couple years back, but it seems like everyone's kind of lacking a solid answer on it. I also have heard that when they established the gaming laws, the Native American tribes and the state couldn't come to an agreement on how to set up craps and roulettes, so they just omitted those two types of games from gambling. Anyways, thanks, guys.
So let me get this straight. Yeah. Justin thinks that a legislature would make laws, but they know nothing about the laws they're making.
That's what Justin's saying. Yes.
Wow, correct. I can't believe. Not in America. That would never happen.
All right. So I sense a little sarcasm in your voice. Now, as far as if this was really the case, it could have been.
It very easily
that they
could
say,
have been,
we don't.
right.
But at the same, they have bingo. Bingo's random. You can't say that. Well, that's right. And
bingo's not random. That's rigged.
Carnival games. They've got carnival games in Minnesota, right? That let it ride, and I mean that's random, right? There's nothing.
Right.
So I mean that could have been their reason, and if it was a stupid reason.
Could have been the people who actually wrote the law didn't know what craps or roulette was. And so they just said, I have no idea what this is. We're not allowing it.
I don't understand it. Yeah, that could be. Now, as far as these roulette terminals being allowed, they're probably just allowed because they're machines.
Right.
It's the same reason we have shoot-to-win craps here in California that use dice. I mean, technically, you can't, since it's not a table game, and all table games have to be based on cards. That's how they get away with it.
Maybe it's because there's no human interaction. There's nobody spinning the ball or rolling the dice.
Yeah, since it's mechanical.
It's mechanical,
that could be.
Right.
So, all right.
That's why they allowed the Sigma Derby.
Because
it's mechanical.
Oh, it's mechanical.
Yeah,
so
real
even
horses
if they don't
in the casino, not allowed.
All right, we got another call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, it's Keggers from Minnesota. I noticed on your last podcast you had a lot of Minnesota-centric callers and questions, which I thought was awesome, which is kind of odd, though, because we don't have much great gambling out here. We only have blackjack, slots, and limit poker. That's about all we have. But one caller mentioned the reason why we don't have live craps or live roulette in Minnesota is because of the architects, for some reason, had a deal that we couldn't install those. I don't think that's the case. Usually it's based on the Indian tribe compacts they have with the state of what games they can and cannot play. But recently I was playing poker with a state representative who's familiar with the situation, and we were talking like, hey, why can't we get craps? We got limit poker here. We can't play no-limit cash games. We have limit poker. Why can't we play craps? And he was saying the issue was brought up in the legislature recently. And a lobbyist for the Indian casinos said the Indian casinos did the math, and they wouldn't make enough money per square foot of their casino to install craps tables. And I'm inclined to believe him. I don't think he's lying to me. It was one lobbyist from one of the tribes out here, so who knows? But that does make sense if you look at the square footage of what slot machines bring in per square foot versus a craps tub. And our casinos are, 95% slots and then a few blackjack tables generally at Mystic Lake and Treasure Island and places. So makes sense. I don't know. I'm looking to move out of Minnesota, and one of the reasons is because of craps possibly, or the lack thereof here. So love the show, guys. Talk to you later.
That's
I'm laughing about that.
That's possible though, because
that is very possible.
If we're legalized, if craps were legalized. And it's probably true, right? That
if one casino did it, the others would feel compelled to do it too.
Only to get the customers in there. Because if only one casino had it, maybe they'd be getting more customers. And then everybody has craps, and everybody's making less money because it
that makes the most sense of anything we've heard so far.
Yes, I think so too.
I like that he wants to leave Minnesota just because they don't have craps. I'm going to suggest that to my wife's family, that they all move in protest.
You don't have craps there. That's the thing.
Half the county is gone.
I have to laugh at this though, because if craps is not worth the floor space, poker certainly isn't. Right? And they've got poker there.
There's a way less rake.
Oh my
poker.
Gosh! Right? Yeah. They're making way less money at poker. So get rid of their poker rooms and put in more machines. But it's
how do they justify that?
Yeah, they do want to get people in there for poker. So. All right. Well, there's a couple more theories, at least, as far as why Minnesota you don't have craps.
Let's just leave it at people in Minnesota are whacked.
Are whack?
Yeah, whacked.
Oh, they're whacked.
Yeah. They're wackadoodle.
We've got you've got family there. We've got a lot of friends there.
All my wife's family.
We're going to alienate all our listeners state by state.
They know me. They know I'm kidding. I love Minnesota.
All right, let's move on.
Hey, guys. It's Brent from Georgia. Got back from Vegas about a week ago. It was a really interesting trip. I was losing the entire trip, and the very last night I was down about $800. And decided I'd bet $100, and that'd be it. That'd be it for me for the trip. And was betting $5 a hand in Deuces Wild Poker and hit 4 deuces for $1,000. So now I'm up, and actually went on to win another $1,000 on that machine. So I went to bed feeling great. Woke up, went to the airport, had a little bit of time to kill, put $20 in a machine, hit 4 deuces again at the airport for another $1,000. So I went from having a trip down $800 to up about $2,200. Which is my best trip ever in Vegas.
Nice.
So I'm curious if you guys ever throw any money in the machines at the airport in Vegas and if you've had any luck. Thanks.
I don't usually put any, but you do sometimes, right?
Yeah, maybe like once every fourth or fifth trip.
Yeah.
I'll put $100 in and play. I like to play that Wheel of Fortune at the airport.
Yeah.
Remember Frank, our friend Frank? He had a big win at the airport.
He was dealt a royal flush. He didn't have to draw to it. He was dealt a royal at the airport.
At the airport.
Yeah. But you haven't really had any luck there, have you?
No. The most is, my 100 lasts me until we're ready to board.
Yeah.
That's basically it. I don't think I've ever won at the airport.
I don't know. They're probably pretty tight too.
I imagine they're very tight. It's just for me something to kill the time.
Right.
We got 40 minutes to wait or something. I'm like, on that Wheel of Fortune's over there, blinking at me.
Yep. So on the last episode, listener Michael said that he was at Cromwell, and there were a couple times where he gave the dealer $50, and she put $48 on each on the 6 and 8 for him. Just getting confused, and we were wondering if she gave him $2 change
or
$4 change, because if it was really 48 on each, it would be like he had given her 100 and he'd get $4. So he wasn't sure, but here's his follow-up call.
Hey, Mike and Dr. Well, I'm freaking out right now. Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike.
I forgot Mark
from
again.
Atlanta again. Just calling.
I'll tell you, earlier in the show, when you were talking about meeting Janisha, I think you said Mike and Dr. Mike.
Did I?
Yeah. I'm gonna so go back and listen to that.
I'll go back. So and listen.
it's not just people who call in.
It's not just people you don't know. It's people you know that forget you.
That's
too.
right.
Back because you guys were like, I wonder what the change was on your 6 and 8 that they overpaid me $48. Honestly, I cannot even remember. I think because I was just so confused at the idea that I just had $48 stuck up there on the 6 and 8 that I wasn't expecting. So, I have no idea. But the dealers that night, they were awesome. They were really, really quick. I think that might have been what happened. It was a really, really crowded table there at Cromwell. So that's that. I did have another trip report. I was recently, just this past week, in Oklahoma. I went up to WinStar in Thackerville. First time there. Obviously, it's card-based craps. Basically, they have, 36 cards. Each card has a barcode on it, and they scan the barcode, and then the screen behind you, the dice roll, and I watched for a while, and I noticed no one was really getting on these streaks, and I don't normally play the don't, so I was like, well, I'll play the don't. And it was really fun because I would play the don't pass, then I'd immediately add some don't come bets. I'd get 2 or 3 up, 7 out, and, you're getting this huge stack of chips pushed to you, which is pretty fun, and rarely did I get knocked off my number. I think I played for a good hour and a half and made a couple $100, so that was fun, but it's definitely not real dice craps. But if you are stuck in Dallas or somewhere in Oklahoma, it is a quick little fix until you can get out to some real craps. Just catching up on some episodes, and I heard something that gave me a question. I heard a guy talking about being able to go into a club, and some of these clubs in Vegas having blackjack and craps tables, but you have to pay to get in the club. Now, I'm no lawyer, but I know from what I understand, you're supposed to be able to go and access any gaming table on any gaming area in Vegas, just no questions asked. You're supposed to be able to go and watch. So I'm wondering, could you walk up to this club that's charging to get in and say, well, I'm actually here to play craps, so I want to go in and play craps. Can they make you pay if you're trying to go in and gamble on those tables, or am I overthinking this? What are y'all's thoughts? Thanks. Have a good night.
I had thought about that too. When we first heard that they had some gambling in some of these clubs, could you just go up and say, no, I'm not here for the club, I'm here for the gambling, and would they just let you in? Because that is the law. You should be able to play wherever you want. You can go to any of these gambling areas, and you can just watch if you want. You don't even have to play. It's like public access. So if anybody knows if you can do that or have tried to do that, let us know. I'm thinking that no, they still would charge you. They'd still say, no, you're allowed to come in. We're not keeping you out.
Right.
But you still have to pay to get into this area.
Well, they probably tell you you're allowed to come in and play or watch, but you cannot listen to any of the music. You cannot look at any of the girls. You cannot have a drink.
Yeah.
All the stuff that you do in a club.
And maybe they just assign you an agent that follows you around to make sure that you're not doing any of that stuff.
He's looking at you. I think you're listening. I'm pretty sure you're listening.
So my guess is that, no, you couldn't just say, hey, I only want to gamble and let you in. I think they would still charge you. But it is a good question. I don't know what the law actually says. But if anybody's ever tried it, it or know
I'll try
the answer to it.
Try,
you try
I'll
it.
try it next
You just
week.
dress like you are right now.
Yeah.
We're recording here in the morning. You just got
just
shorts and a
walk in
t-shirt.
there.
Yeah, I want to go into the club.
Yeah,
just
I want
to
to
gamble.
Promise I won't listen to anything.
And we talked about this a long time ago on episode 64. We talked about these things called international gaming salons, which are in Nevada. These are like private gambling areas that are reserved for certain people, and you can't just go in. And that's like an exception to the rule. So go back if you want to hear more about that. Listen
Why
to
is
that
there
episode.
always an exception to the rule?
That's a good thing, Mike, that there's always an exception to the rule. All right, let's hear from our buddy Tim from The Better Life.
Mike, Mark, how you doing? Tim Lawson here from The Better Life. First, I want you guys to know that anytime I'm playing video poker, I have the hotline on speed dial just in case I get a royal flush, because this is definitely the first call that I'm making. Second, I just got done playing Pai Gow at MGM National Harbor, and I definitely have not played as much as you guys, and I'm curious about this. The table had a little device that the dealer would hit, and the screen would show two cards, or would show the two cards that he would play on his top hand. And I hadn't seen that before. Granted, I've only played at a few casinos, but I was wondering, is that normal technology? Is this something that's new? Just kind of curious if that's a normal thing. Thanks.
So I contacted Tim to make sure I understood exactly what was going on here. He said that the table has these card readers, and that after everybody has set their hand, all the players have set their hand, the dealer presses a button, and on this display, it shows the dealer what cards he should play in the 2-card low hand. It actually shows it to him, so that when he flips over the cards, he doesn't have to look and figure out what to play. This display, the computer tells him.
Right.
So the nice thing for the casino then is that the dealers will always be playing a perfect house way. You know how
predetermined way.
The house way, the house way in casinos is simple enough that the dealers can figure it out very quickly. It might not be optimal, but at least it's easy. It's like, okay, if you've got 2 pair and an ace, you always keep the 2 pair together, something like this.
Now it's optimal.
Now it's optimal. So that's bad for the player because now the casino is playing optimally every time. Right. Because it's a computer. It spits it out.
Right.
No, we had never seen that before. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Now, going back to Michael's call. And Tim's call.
All right.
Like Michael said, they scan a barcode.
Well, I guess that's the way that it is in Oklahoma right now.
Scan a bar. What is the world coming to? They scan a barcode, then the dealer has to input his secret password, right? It's encrypted. It comes up on his screen. It's encrypted, and then a guy has to come from the back and scramble
the
it.
IT guy comes out.
So we can see what the number that just rolled was. I mean, what's going on? And now the computer is optimally setting hands.
Yes.
Pretty soon, I'm not going to have to go to Harris Rincon. They're just going to put some kind of probe in my head, and I'll be playing craps while I sleep.
No, they'll just deduct money from your account.
Yeah, okay.
That's
or
that. That's what.
Or that.
Just every day. Here's what you would have lost.
Here, another 84 cents every day.
Another thing I forgot to mention too, Michael was talking, and we've talked about this on the show before, but he was in Oklahoma with the card craps. Again, that's going away.
Yeah.
They're going to have real dice here soon. You got to still pay an ante, but they will have real dice here soon.
The dice
too.
are encrypted, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep. All right, next call.
Hey guys, Mike in Los Angeles. Just listening to an older episode, and you guys talked about how you were rolling all these 4s at Caesar's Palace, and you reached the table maximum at $5,000. I was wondering, when you guys had that $5,000 out there and it finally hit and it paid $10,000, did you ever consider putting a put bet out there to get more money on there, or maybe even placing it just to kind of go above the table max, or is that not allowed? Also, did you consider maybe even taking it down after it hit that one time? Just save the $5,000, take it off the table.
No, it never occurred to us to make a put bet or a place bet. We
probably should have made a put bet.
I guess so. I'm sure
in retrospect, that's probably what we should have done.
I'm sure they would. Well, in retrospect, it's a good thing we didn't because it didn't hit again,
it didn't
right?
hit. Yeah, that's true.
Right. But I'm sure they would have allowed a place bet. I don't know about a put bet. Probably. Because this is back years ago
I'm
when
sure
they
did.
Yeah, they probably would have.
You know what's funny is we we were so happy to hit that.
Yeah.
I don't think we were thinking about anything else.
No, that's right. It's like,
we were
oh my
just on like
gosh,
cloud nine.
we just won $10,000 on one bet. Yeah.
And I was thinking, come on, hit again.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't even thinking like, oh, increase that. I was like, at that point we're like pretty happy.
Yeah. But I don't think we even considered, maybe for a flash, I thought about taking it down, but no, we wouldn't have taken it down because at that point, it's already there. The smart thing to do would be to take it down.
Sure,
That's $5,000.
Yeah, right.
Come on. Would you ever go into a casino and just make a $5,000 bet on a four?
Right
just walk right in and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might. I probably should only speak for myself. Yeah. But that's something to keep in mind. At Harrah's Southern California, the max is $2,500.
Right.
And so if I ever get up to 2,500 on a 4 or a 10, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let it hit twice.
Okay.
Once it gets to $2,500, I'm going to let it hit twice, and then after that, then I'll make a place bet or a put bet to increase
good.
it.
I thought you said after that I'll pull it down.
No, that's the smart thing to do. That's probably what I should do.
No, you know what you do? You do what I would do. You get it up to 2,500 when it hits, and you realize you can't go up anymore.
Yeah.
I just give you money and have you make a bet.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
See?
So you're saying that I'm not even on these numbers.
No.
Even though I'm the one who bets the 4 and 10 and you're not.
This is going to be the exception.
Okay. That is a good point, though, because there are some times when we're out there and you will have maxed out your hard way bets,
Right.
which I never make.
Right.
And then you'll just give me money to make on your
right.
behalf.
That's why it's good to go with a buddy or a friend or
Yeah.
something, because you do have that advantage. When you get to the house limit, you just give him money and have him make a bet.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Right.
true. Yeah. Hey,
Proxy betting.
By the way, I want to thank you for all the hard way
Yeah.
bets you've made for me recently. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Uncle G calling in from the East Coast. As we have a beautiful, beautiful heat wave out here, I wanted to give you folks an update on what's happening on the East Coast, as well as ask your advice on a couple things. So on the update side, MGM Springfield is going to be opening on August 24th. It's kind of a good-sized casino, only 250-room hotel, about $1 billion casino opening in the small town of Springfield, Massachusetts. So, hopefully, of course, they do well and there's reasonable gaming action there. Just, I have some concern about where the demand's going to come from, with the Foxwoods and Mohegan being so close and the casino opening in Boston next year. So, hopefully, they do well. And I had a question for you folks. So, I'm a platinum member over at Foxwoods, and I'm wondering, what is my best course of action when MGM opens to try to get them to match my status that I currently have over at Foxwoods? Do I seek out a host and say, hey, here's some of the free play I'm getting, here are the free rooms I'm getting, here's the free meals I'm getting. What can you do for me? So if you could provide some guidance there, I'd really appreciate it, guys. The other thing I wanted to talk with you about is I seem to have taken my craps lingo and applied it to other things in life. Maybe you do the same. But one thing that's come up recently is when somebody passes away, I'll simply just say, 7 out, line away. And I don't mean it as a negative thing, but, you catch word that somebody passed away and, a friend will come up to you and say, hey, what happened to that person? And I'll say, 7 out, line away. And they'll say, oh, wow, they passed away. So I don't mean it in a derogatory term, but what do you think about that? Is that derogatory? I certainly don't mean it that way. It seems appropriate for a craps player to say that, and my craps players understand it, but some of the other folks don't. So appreciate your guidance on the platinum situation over at MGM, and also what do you think about 7 out, line away? Thank you. Uncle G is out. Over.
Well, I guess it's like anything. You need to know your audience, right?
No, I like it.
You do?
Yeah, I like 7 out, line away.
You do?
Yeah, my belief system. So,
okay.
Somebody passes away, is 7 out, line away. It's what happens after a line away?
Well,
coming out again.
Oh, okay.
Starting over. New life, starting over.
Okay. All right. Well, if you die first, then
right.
I'm going to have them put 7 out, line away on your.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have them put 7 out, pay the don't.
Now I don't like that.
That's right.
I don't want those don't guys getting paid when I'm gone.
That's what's going to be, my friend. I'm going to tell you right now. That's good.
You know what you should do? Just kind of mumble it and say it real fast, 7 out, line away, and they'll think he said he's out. He passed away.
Yeah. That's good. That's 7 out, line away.
It doesn't offend anybody, but you know what it means.
He's really broken up about it. I can't even hear. So, no.
I use my craps lingo in my real life all the time.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, all the time. I'm going, what's going on here?
That's good. I guess now that I think of it, you do. Yeah. As far as this tier a lot of places, especially new casinos, they will do tier matching. Not all of them, but some of them will. So now a platinum at Foxwoods, that's the third tier level at Foxwoods. So that should correspond to M Life's third level, which is gold.
Right.
So if they're doing kind of tier matching, you would hope at least they'd give you that. But beyond that, talking to a host.
Yeah, talk to a host
that's definitely
is
the way
always
to go.
best. You should do that anyway.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Let them know you're a craps player. You buy in for $500. This is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So they at least ahead of time know you're going to give them some action.
Yeah, and you say, hey, here's what they're giving me at Foxwoods.
Right.
They give me free rooms, they give me free food on these dates or whatever.
And they'll always do something for you.
You would hope so,
they want to keep you.
You would hope so, yeah.
I don't like the way they're set up here. Foxwoods, the lowest level's a Wonder.
Wonder is their lowest level.
Yeah, Wonder. Oh, what level are you? I'm Wonder. I wonder what the hell I'm doing here because I'm not getting anything for this. What? Wonder.
It is so funny because some of the tier levels at different companies have the same name, but they mean something different. Like at Foxwoods, Platinum is the third tier level. M Life, Platinum is their fourth tier level.
Like a 7-star level.
Right. And at Total Rewards, it's the second level.
Yeah, it's like barely, past gold.
So
it doesn't make any sense. Although I like Total Rewards because gold and then platinum, which is actually a little more precious than gold.
Okay, sure. All right.
And then diamond, which is actually more valuable than gold or platinum.
Okay.
And then
I guess
7 stars because that's their logo.
Yeah.
So, it kind of all makes sense. But Foxwoods Wonder? I mean, it's not a gem. What is Wonder?
I know.
It doesn't even make sense.
They should all get together and just decide on it. I think maybe the government should get involved.
There you go. We need legislatures
to make it consistent.
To make it consistent.
With M Life, there's Sapphire and then there's Pearl.
I'll start writing my congressman. Yeah, I really think we need to get consistent on the tier rankings.
You say platinum, it doesn't mean. What does that mean, platinum?
Halfway through the letters, tier. What's he talking about? Is this guy?
Yeah, throw this letter away.
I'll be on a list.
That's right. All right. Well, on the last episode, Mike, you were talking about all the casinos, quote unquote casinos, that you ran across in Montana. So Professor Slots has some more info for us.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's John Friedel from the Professor Slots podcast. I was just listening to your last episode, and I heard you talk about Montana slots. There's actually 1,400 bars and taverns in Montana that are allowed to have video games. They're allowed to have up to 20 of these video games, and they're allowed only to have video poker, video keno, and video bingo on those machines. These machines are controlled by the Montana gaming regulations through the state, and their minimum payback return percentage is 80%. There is no maximum payout return legally required. Montana also has tribal casinos, and these offer Class 2 and Class 3 video gaming machines, but there's no minimum payback return required for those. Anyway, I thought you'd be interested in that. All this information and more is available on my article on Montana slot machine casino gambling at professorslots.com/Montana. You might also be interested in knowing that as of last week, I finished all 56 articles in that series about slot machine casino gambling in U.S. states, territories, and our federal district. So starting next week or so, I'll start over again with Alabama and see what's changed in the last 56 weeks. It was great to see you guys at Gamblepalooza. Seems like a long time ago now. Keep up the great work. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, John.
Yeah,
well,
good
that
information.
That explains it. 1,400.
Yeah.
Slot parlors. That's why you saw so many of them.
Right. They're everywhere. What he failed to note is how many of them are affiliated with IHOPs.
Oh, that's true. He didn't mention.
He didn't mention IHOPs.
That's on him.
Yeah. He needs to do some research on IHOPs because I'm sure not every IHOP has a casino.
Yeah, that's right. Some do and some don't. Just because it is an IHOP doesn't mean it has a casino.
I don't think it was actually associated with the IHOP, but the sign, because it's this little strip mall and there's only 2 buildings. It's the IHOP and the casino, and they're kind of joined.
Yeah.
Not really, but they share a wall.
Okay, right.
And on the marquee, it says IHOP and then casino.
Slots, yeah. That makes sense, though. So you were talking about how small it was when you went to see that one. 20 machines maximum.
Right.
So
that does fit in my living room. I mean, you can fit 20 machines in our house.
You probably should do that.
Yeah.
You should just get and just open up a little slot parlor there. That'd be good. I'd probably come over to your house a lot more often.
And I'll have real liberal rules.
Real loose slots?
Yeah, real loose slots.
That'll be good. You'll have people come in at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
hey,
we're closed. We're closed. We announced 15 minutes ago we were closed.
I want to play slots.
We are closed.
Listener Ken wrote, I laughed at Mike's story about the casinos in Montana. I have been to a couple too. They are a little frightening, although the poker rooms are reasonable. By the way, I think that he overestimated the population of these cities/towns. Billings is the only city with over 100,000 people. The others are very small in population. Yeah, Mike, because you said these towns were 500,000 people.
They seemed huge, Mark. There's casinos on every corner. Did I mention that?
Get this. Missoula, around 74,000 people.
All right.
Right? Butte,
Yeah.
around 34,000 people. And Bozeman, around 47,000 people.
That is the metropolitan area. When you include all the outskirts,
if you include all that,
all the suburbs,
that's still
in Montana,
that's still only about 100,000. You said 500,000.
These are big people in Montana.
Okay,
huge people.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. You see these people, you're like, okay, this is
count them twice.
It's a big
count them
state.
3 times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that explains it. I knew you'd have a reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Once again, we rely on.
All right. Line out 7 away. Let's move on.
All right. Next call.
7 away.
7. You don't even know. That's going to be it. It's going to be a misprint on your grave, right? It's 7 away. What is that? Oh, yeah, it's a misprint. It's like Elvis's grave, right? They spelled his name wrong.
You know what it should be?
What's that?
It should be, because people make this mistake all the time. He crapped out.
Oh, that's
he
right.
He rolled a 3. He crapped out.
That's right. People say he crapped out. No, he's 7 down. Yeah. Oh, he just rolled a 3? Well, then he's still shooting. How come he's dead?
And when I become a zombie, I'm going to reach up and just grab that stone and slam it down. It's 7 out, not crap out.
That's right. I don't feel so good. All right. So on the last episode, we got a call from Kevin, who was having some real bad luck at the poker table. He'd had a nice winning session in 2017, and then since about the beginning of the year, it's just all been downhill. And he was wondering if we had any advice for him. So let's.
We gave him some.
Let's see what he thought about it on his follow-up call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Kevin Anaheim again. Thanks for all the advice. You guys hit on so many good points when responding to my call last week, 2 weeks ago. It's definitely the suck-out artist that is making the losing streak so difficult. Hopefully the book recommendation will help me deal with the emotional swings of poker a little bit better. Just to respond to a couple questions or advice you guys gave, I'm a player who's realistic. I understand that all winning and hopefully losing streaks will come to an end eventually. But I'm not sure about, if my $40 game has changed or not. I guess I'll have to do a better job of looking at the players, and maybe that's some of the holes that that I need to fill. But it's hard because the tables are always changing and players are always changing, and therefore the game's always changing. But, you guys definitely helped out. But I guess the toughest part, and I think Dr. Mike hit on it, the toughest part is recently I've had is playing poker correctly, having all your chips in the middle and being ahead at the all-in. And you do everything right and you still lose because of luck or suckouts. Poker to me doesn't feel like it should be a negative EV game, especially if you're ahead in the hand 89 to, 11%. But what can you do? That's poker, that's gambling, and, I guess you got to play for the fun and not play to, try to make money. Anyway, I have 3 questions for you guys. I'll be in Vegas, July 12th through the 16th. I was wondering how I can meet up with Dr. Mike, if he's going to be around, if he's going to be available, or if he's going to be, busy with his family. Meet him up at the blackjack, craps tables, whatever he's playing. And then the second question is, could I bring anything to Dr. Mike to the table? A slice of secret pizza, Earl sandwich, anything. And the last question I have is, I looked it up online after that. You guys did the story about the Down Under blackjack. Can't really find the game anywhere in Vegas. So I was curious if any of the casinos have it. That's it. Thanks again for all the advice, and hopefully I'll see you guys in Vegas. All right. Bye.
All right, good. Kevin actually left another call too. He called in before he had heard our advice on the last episode. And it was just some examples of some of the bad beats that he hit, along the way, 3 outers and just, getting it all good and
Right.
people just sucking out. So.
Well, you remember those, right?
Yeah, they're
you
painful,
remember
yeah.
those bad beats because they're painful. But he has focus on the times where he made the right move and it worked out.
Mhm, yes, which
So,
is going to.
It's going to be more.
It's going to be more. Maybe not within the last 6 months because your poker life lasts your whole life. But one thing we didn't say, maybe Kevin, you might want to consider switching to limit poker.
Right.
That's another thing. There's a lot less volatility there, and I actually prefer limit poker
I do
to no
too.
limit poker.
I do too.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, certainly there are times when, because you can only bet a certain amount, you cannot price people out of making a call. So maybe when they're making a call, they're making the right move. So people will stay in longer, and you might get more suckouts in limit poker, but it won't be for your whole stack.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
It won't.
but you have money left to fight again.
Right.
Which, when you're playing no limit, it can all go.
Yeah, just one hand, there's your whole night. So
Right.
that's certainly what I prefer. Now, as far as meeting up with you in Vegas,
I'll be there the 13th, 14th, 15th.
Right.
So of July.
Okay, so I'll tweet on your behalf.
Right.
Just let me know where you
And
are.
we're at Harris, so I imagine, because my dad's with us, we'll spend most of our time at Harris.
Oh, okay. Very good. So you're probably going to be at Harris.
Yeah, I'm sure we might run downtown or we might go somewhere else, but we'll be at Harris.
So yeah, Kevin, just follow us on Twitter. And again, you don't need a Twitter account to see our tweets. Just go to twitter.com/YouCanBet on that. So I'll let you know where Dr. Mike
You'll
is.
be able to pick me out on the craps tables. at
Probably,
Harris.
yeah. He's the guy making the $2,500 for.
Yeah, I'll be wearing a
buy bet and
T-shirt and shorts. And if my dad's with me, he'll be in his scooter.
Right.
So
Yeah, it'd be right
that'll
there.
be
Yep.
the
Okay.
easiest way.
You usually have like a comic book T-shirt, right?
Comic book
characters
T-shirt, yeah.
T-shirt. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And what can he bring you?
He can bring himself with a lot of good luck in his pockets.
In his
Just
pockets.
pull
So
out the good luck and
should he
spread
have?
it around.
Should he have like rabbit's feet or things like a?
No, just a nice smile and a positive attitude. Good luck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get all his money back that he's lost.
We'll turn
in,
his poker life around.
Okay. In a craps way.
He gives up the game.
That's right. Now, as far as a down under blackjack, no, it is currently not being offered in Las Vegas. I contacted the people behind Down Under Blackjack, and they said the game is still going through the Nevada approval process.
Okay.
So they're hoping to get it on Vegas tables by October.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, we'll see that.
This is probably a good time to bring up something that I think will make you very happy. And I know all the listeners are waiting for a little Pai Gow talk.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So last night.
Face up Pai Gow
Face up
poker? Or
Pai
just-
Gow.
oh, okay.
I forgot to tell you this.
Okay, all right.
Last night, one of the pit told me they have no regular Pai Gow at Harris Southern Cal.
Really?
No regular Pai Gow. It's all either face up or queen high Pai Gow.
That's the one with no commission, right? If the dealer gets queen high, it's just everybody's a push, but there's no commission on the game.
Yeah, so they
really
either have that or face up Pai Gow.
Wow.
Those are your choices. No regular Pai Gow.
Wow. I mean, 'cause, yeah, it's so funny. We got that call once saying, hey, I think regular Pai Gow is going to go away. This, and we're thinking, oh, no, it's not going. Wow.
Yeah.
So
here, look how the world changes.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it every day in our lives, but 6 months ago, we were content playing regular Pai Gow.
That's right. Yeah.
Now we can't even play it anymore. They don't have it.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I still can't get onto the Face Up Pai Gow table out there.
Yeah.
They added a new table. It was still packed.
Yeah. Oh, no. It was packed last night.
Yeah.
I mean, last night it wasn't that super busy at the casino, but the Pai Gow tables were all packed.
Yeah.
There was not one, I'm not kidding, not one single spot the
Yeah.
whole time I was there.
Yeah. Well.
When they bring Caribbean Stud back, imagine how that's going to rock our world.
What rule change to Caribbean Stud are they going to make that suddenly everybody's going to want to play it again?
All right, we're going to have the answer for that next week.
Oh,
we can't
great.
we can't spoil it right now.
All right.
Next week, the answer, the rule change.
Please think about that over the next 2 weeks. I do so much to get ready for the show. That's the last thing I need is to come up with some variant of Caribbean Stud poker.
I'll just wing something here at the last second.
It won't make sense. That's probably the best.
Yeah.
That's for the best. Yeah.
So while Kevin was talking about this story about coming up to the table, I was laughing because a few weeks ago at Harris, Southern California, they gave this giveaway, and it's these two little beach chairs.
Yeah.
And as we're driving home, I'm telling Mark that I'm going to bring the beach chair with me next week and just use it at the craps table because Mark brings his own towel to cover his chips.
That's true. I do.
Which, by the way, the casino asked to borrow his towel 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
On the night when it was super busy.
Yeah.
Right? Some guy had to go to the bathroom and all the towels were being used. And the pit boss asked, could he use Mark's towel? Because Mark brings his own
That's
towel
right.
to cover another player's chips.
That's right. They use my
So they
towel.
used-
It's a white towel. Says you can bet on that on it.
right.
Just put it.
And the funny thing about that is they must have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on decorations.
Oh my gosh,
the casino was decorated so nicely.
That's true. It was a Wizard of Oz theme
right.
for that giveaway. Oh my God, they had characters walking around.
I mean,
and
just
videos. They
thousands
spent
of
some money.
dollars.
Oh,
Yeah.
they spent some money.
Spend a couple hundred and buy some towels. I mean, get some towels. They don't have enough towels to cover when people want to go to the bathroom. They're borrowing from players. That was the funniest thing ever. Now, have you ever seen a casino borrow something from a player besides their money?
Actually borrow something from. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything.
I can never
specifically,
think of
but
anything where I heard a pit boss say to somebody, "Yeah, can we you got a
maybe a
match?"
pen or I don't know something.
They got pens.
All right. Okay.
First time ever somebody borrowed something from
first
a
time
player.
ever. No, that's fair.
You're a trendsetter. Anyway, we were laughing about those chairs, and I said, I'm going to bring my own chair, like Mark brings his own towel,
Yeah.
and I'll just sit in that chair. And Mark's like, yeah, there'll be, no, I can use this chair. It's your chair.
That's
It's
right.
your
You
logo.
gave it to
You
us. So
gave it to us.
yeah.
So I'm sitting in this chair, and I'm thinking about that, and then I'm thinking about this story that happened years ago. My youngest daughter was pretty young, and we went to the bank, and we're waiting in line, and in front of us is this older man, and he was fairly old, and he was pretty heavy set.
Mm-hmm.
And he had one of those chairs, you'll see him at golf tournaments, where it's just one stick and a little pad for your bottom.
Right, yeah.
And you perch yourself on that, kind of to rest on.
Yeah.
So he goes up to the window and he pulls out this stick and opens it up and sits down on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's leaning up against the counter. So he's perfectly perched, like his arms on the counter and this stick on his bottom. But he's so big that you can't see the seat because he kind of overlaps it. So it just looks like a stick coming out of his butt. Right? And my daughter, we laughed all afternoon about that. She's still, remember the man with the stick in his butt? Oh, there's nothing funnier than an old person with a stick coming out of their butt.
Absolutely true. Cannot argue with you. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Mississippi Rob, just calling to give you a trip report from my trip to Vegas last week. We went for about 6 days, stayed at the Link, went downtown quite a bit. We were staying for my 30th birthday and actually had a good group of folks meet up with us there. Sadly, the gambling didn't go too well. I got crushed at the craps tables. Pretty much every time I played, except for maybe once or twice, had a half decent run, but pretty much all week it was a pretty rough go at it. But I wanted to tell you one specific part of the story and then follow that up with a question. So beforehand, we actually did a little research and contacted the Downtown Grand, and they actually reserved a craps table for, I think we had about 11 folks, and really only probably 3 to 4 of us had played before. So it was really kind of just a hangout, fun session to be able to teach a lot of my other friends how to play and everything else and kind of do it all together as a group. And everything was going great. We eventually all kind of lost our way down and ended up easing out there after a couple of hours. But one good note, got down to, I was probably bought in for about $300, got down to about my last 20, and we did at least finally hit one good roll. One of my friend's moms actually got going, and she rolled for at least 30 or 45 minutes, got my bankroll almost all the way back up, and so I just decided to stop then. But a really good time and really good of them to kind of help us out and reserve a table, and we had a really good time there. But I do have one question. I kind of do a small version of Dr. Mike's parlay bets on the hard ways. Every time there's a point with a hard way, I'll throw $1 out on it and try and get it to, hit, parlay it, and hit one more time and, take down the $100. And been doing that all night with all the hard way points for sure, and sometimes even extras. Well, sure enough, one point in the night, 6 was the point, so threw $1 out there for the hard 6, and when the hard 6 hit, my dollar wasn't anywhere to be seen. So therefore, I kind of asked the guy when they weren't going to pay me, I asked the dealers, then I ended up asking the pit boss, who was kind of acting like a box man there. He was watching pretty closely, and I kind of made a point to him as politely as I could and kind of shut it down, and I kind of, again, as politely as I could argue, as I was kind of emphasizing it to him that I know that I did it, and and so finally, after he just kind of gave me a hard enough time, I asked him if he could check the cameras, and this guy was just acting like that was, an act of Congress, this and that, wouldn't do it, and then finally, somebody rolled a 7 or an easy 6. And so I told the guy, I'm like, look, I appreciate what y'all are doing for us, but, I still think I'm right, but, there's no need to check the camera because I would have parlayed it and I would have lost, so no big deal, whatever else. Well, sure enough, 5 minutes later, he tells somebody to one of the dealers to give me $1 hard 6. I don't know if he got word about a camera or whatever else. It just seemed kind of iffy. I told him I appreciate it. Do y'all have any idea how hard it is, or have y'all had a lot of trouble with that when a dealer doesn't place your bet for you and you don't realize it until after the fact? But do y'all have any kind of idea how hard it is to check the cameras? I've always wondered that, and I try not to push the issue often, but in this one scenario, it kind of makes sense to me. So if y'all could, just appreciate your opinion on that. Thanks again. Bye.
Yeah, Rob, they should have given you a $10 hard 6. Right? Instead of just the $1 because it hit that one time.
And that would be the good PR thing to do.
Yeah, sure.
Just give the guy the $10 hard 6 and
Yeah.
just let it sit up there. If it hits, great. Chances are it's not going to,
Yeah,
right? They're going to
It's
get their $10 back anyway, and he goes away happy.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It's just
smart
$10.
business.
It's $10. I'll tell you, Rob, checking the camera is only as hard as they want to make it.
Right.
That's really true. I think in some cases they just they don't want to do it, or too many
They make
people
one phone
ask
call to the guy up there.
Yeah.
He rewinds the tape and looks at
Yeah,
it.
I'll give you an example. So when we were in Tahoe, this woman was rolling, and she only needed a 2 for the all small. Right. And so she finally rolled a 2, and I was cheering for her. I didn't have the bet, of course, but I knew that she was cheering. And she was the only one on it. She had $5 on it, I think $1 for the dealers. And a guy at the other end of the table started cheering. And as they're paying out, he's saying, well, wait a second, didn't I have it out there? And the boxman said, oh, no, sorry, Ted. I noticed you didn't have the bet out there, but then the dice were rolled and the first number came out, and then it was too late, so I couldn't say anything to you. And the guy was very nice, like, oh, really, I forgot to do it? Oh, man, I can't believe it. And the boxman said, you know what, I'll have the eye in the sky check it out anyway, but I'm pretty sure. The boxman was sure, because he remembered thinking that.
Right.
He still just, I'll have him check.
Right.
Just to make sure. And he did.
Yeah.
So,
it's not that hard, I don't think.
It's not. You just call up, say, they say, hey,
Yeah, they rewind the tape. It's only a few minutes. They can see it easily.
Yeah, that's right. And it's it's not even a tape anymore, right? It's all digital.
It's
they
just
just go back and it's real quick. So it's just depends on the pit boss that you get. All right, last call.
Hey, this is Leonard Sterling from London, Ontario, Canada. Wanted to let you know that on Saturday night, June 30th, at Gateway Casino in London, they had 3 promotional draws, 2 for $5,000 cash, and 1 draw for a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The astonishing thing was that the same individual won all 3 draws. Now, ballots were earned based on coin in instead of points, so electronic table games player or video poker player or video roulette player could earn far more ballots than that of the slot player. But I wanted to call in because I would think this would be a very rare occurrence on an electronic draw that the same winner would win all 3 times. The crowd was outraged, and the casino was looking into it, but I just thought it was so unbelievable.
It sounds like this player somehow worked the system.
I mean, it's pretty unlikely, right?
Yeah, it's extremely unlikely.
Even if there's just, say there were 10 people in a drawing for the same guy's name to be picked 3
even
times
if there are only
in a
10,
row,
yeah, it's true.
It's pretty hard.
What he's talking about is like coin in. So maybe she figured out some way to run coins through the machine without really playing them. And maybe you could do that on like a roulette machine or even a shoot to win machine where maybe you make the bet. Like let's say you
pull it down.
It down, right? If you could now, the machine should be smart enough to recognize that, but maybe she found a machine that was, all you did was you put the coin in and then you just cashed out, right?
Right. Maybe.
Maybe she'll get caught. I couldn't find anything online about it being a public scandal.
Maybe it was
or
that guy
anything,
from the bank with a stick up his butt. He replaced it with a horseshoe.
That could be. You still couldn't see it. All you could see was the stick.
All you could see was
the casino doesn't know there's a horseshoe up there.
They don't know. They have no
know.
idea. How can they stop that?
Right. All right. So some things coming up here we want to talk about. Go ahead.
Oh, just real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, what's the weirdest, luckiest thing you've ever seen? Like something that happens and you're like, oh my God, that is so strange.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. You caught me. Why? Do you have something in mind?
Yeah, I have something.
Right,
I know mine.
All right, go ahead and say yours.
It was like 1990. I was at a Dodger game in L.A. against the Padres.
Okay.
A right-handed batter for the Padres was up. He hit a screaming line drive.
Oh, I know. You've told me this story.
Down the first base line.
Right.
And his guy reaches out and catches it with his hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty hard to do. And it was screaming. I mean, it was like
with the bare hand. Yeah.
coming full bore. I mean, it would have been hard to catch with a glove. Yeah. Sticks out his hand. Very next pitch, same batter, pops up, not a line drive, but pops it up, goes foul, first base side, same guy reaches up and catches it.
Yeah.
2 in a row, and one's a line drive, one's a pop-up, and it lands in the same spot.
Okay.
Now, that is amazing. I mean, and he caught them both.
Yeah.
That, if he had just been near it, you would have said, well, that's weird, but he caught them both. Yeah. So that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Okay. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so maybe next episode.
Yeah, come up with
I'm not going to.
Your most unusual thing. I mean, somebody winning 3... They pick 3 things and the same person wins it all 3 times.
That'll be mine. There's too much.
Well, you didn't see that. I
heard about it. No, I heard about it.
It's an urban legend.
All right. So some things coming up. First of all, Bun Fest in London is going to be on July 21st. Make sure you listen to Vegas Bun Boy for more information on that.
Right.
Also, Oceans 14, Coast to Coast. Half of the Oceans 14 guys are going to be in Atlantic City. Half are going to be in Laughlin.
Wow.
Well, I don't know
Laughlin.
if it's exactly half, but yeah, that's what they decided. Atlantic City and Laughlin.
I hope there's not 9 guys.
What?
And half, 4.5.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It might not be exactly half. All right. So that's going to be July 27th or the 29th. And then not VIMF. I don't know if they're actually calling it this, but there's no VIMF this year. There's no summit. But some of the Vegas nerds still want to get together in October. So they're doing like this unofficial thing.
Who's going to organize that?
Oh, probably Al from San Diego. I'm not sure.
There you go.
I'm not sure who's actually, but there's a Twitter account, not VIMF, that you can follow. So I don't know who actually did that account, but that's going to be October 12th through the 13th. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we got a couple of PayPal donations from Taylor. He sent us one because he and Tara found this video poker machine that looked like it might have been Positive EV. It was a progressive. So they sent us a karma donation so that Tara could hit her first Royal, which she did not.
She did
unfortunately. But
she's with us. She's our people.
She's exactly right. She's like us. Taylor sent another donation. He said, we were going to Santa Fe for the 4th of July, but when we were in Vegas last time, Tara said, why don't we come back in 2 weeks for the 4th of July? And that's how I know she's a keeper.
There you go.
Huh? There you go. Let's go to Vegas again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's certain things that women say, and I cannot let this one go.
He went on to say, by the way, we'll keep donating until she hits her first royal flush.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really. Now I'm conflicted.
Yeah, right. Oh, you know what? She'll hit it.
I think she'll
hit it. You and I are going to be the last 2 people in America to hit a royal flush. And there's like one kid in Ethiopia somewhere who hasn't hit one.
Yeah, he just doesn't have access to the machines. That's why. That's the only reason.
It's going to be him and us.
Yeah, that's right. So thanks again, Taylor. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday, unless I'm on vacation.
Okay.
It was a little late last week. Using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Mike, you're smiling. What's happening here?
I'm thinking Twitter was probably a buzz. Where are the TV listings?
Yeah,
people are all pissed off.
Yeah, I'm fooling myself into thinking how many people actually use those listings.
CNN's recording, but we just don't know what happened. We have reporters in the field, and there is no work.
No response.
No response.
In fact, Mark isn't even at home.
Whenever they say
there may be foul play.
Yeah, whenever they say there's no response, it's not good. The guy's like doing something wrong, right? He had no comment. There was no response.
That's right. All right, so on our next show, you will have come back from your first July Vegas trip. So good luck on that.
The next show will be between my 2 July
between
Vegas
your 2 July Vegas trips. That's right. All right, you got anything else for us here before we sign off?
Oh, God, we covered so much, and this is such a long episode.
Yeah, it was longer than you can imagine,
It's
folks.
4th of July. I've got to get home, strip down to my underwear, and sit on the couch.
Gotcha. All right, thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.